as you guys can tell in the topic of the video, it is why Pain versus KAKUZU is a joke. And I really wanted to do this video for a very good while, and I know a lot of people have done many versus battles of KAKUZU versus Pain, you know what I mean? It's been really funny videos. One of my favorite ones, and shout out to Daigo Knight, is where he did like why the summoning path of Pain alone would like slam KAKUZU and so on and so forth. But either way, this is not really going to be a versus battle. It's mainly going to be a Naruto analysis of comparing the two, Nagato, the God, the Sage of Six Paths versus KAKUZU, you know, the immortal, the one that has been alive for eons through even the first Hokage's era and even fought the first Hokage. And it's basically to be a nice little comparison and contrast of seeing these two characters in the manga, the anime, and even the Naruto game itself. We will be including that as well. And it's going to be just really interesting to discuss. And once we basically go over all this information, the goal is to kind of make it pretty crystal clear who this matchup it mainly favors, you know, towards. And at the end of the day, that the fact that this even became a debatable topic to begin with, you know, or just even something to even just talk about to begin with, is just very laughable. And it just kind of comes to the point where, you know, at the end of the day, you know, we all know the majority of the Naruto community will clearly know who is the real winner. But, you know, there are a small percentage of the Naruto community that are either just trolls, sophists, you know, whatever, or rat debaters that would try to advocate for the other contestant.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
And you guys already know who I'm talking towards, but either way, we're going to be getting into it, and hope you guys enjoy. Let's do it. And as you guys already know, like, just to keep this simple, KAKUZU, you know, it's just stated verbatim from Pain, where he says, KAKUZU, you are truly strong. This is the farthest Pain has ever been pushed. And with that just being said, you know, that's it. And KAKUZU wins due to durability and having better durability than a live Madara. So, you know, that's basically all you got, guys, and I hope you guys enjoy. Peace. We're going to get more on a serious note. So first thing we're going to be analyzing is basically KAKUZU first. You know, we'll go over basically any statements we have, you know, and go from that route. And then once after statements and comparing that, we will basically get into the next. So as for KAKUZU, you know, he has a couple data books that you can utilize where, you know, he is stated to be like the deadliest Akatsuki member. He's also, you know, he has like his diamond armor, which is a highly versatile jutsu that increases the destructive force of unarmed attacks and increases defense capability to its maximum by sending chakra throughout the body to harden the skin. Although it, you know, it's not that perfect. It cannot be moved once he's utilized the technique, and there is nearly no jutsu other than lightning style ninjutsu that can defeat the diamond morph armor. So, you know, there's that as well to put into consideration, but not all jutsus are ineffective. There are some that can work, but lightning is definitely most effective against KAKUZU due to elemental weakness. And, you know, even just stated in the manga where you know, KAKUZU says, good eye, its true physical attacks are virtually useless against me. And if you guys analyze the definition of virtually, you know, then basically what that means in a simple consensus is, you know, the majority of attacks won't work, but there are attacks that can still be effective against me, even if they are physical as well. So it is a very strong defense, but it's not a perfect defense. Next statement that we get into is to where it's stated where after Hidan tries to attack basically the Two Tails Jinchuriki, he says, I missed, but then again, my attack speed is the slowest and my aim's the worst among the Akatsuki, so I probably can't hit you anyway. And basically it originates from there, and this is important to put into consideration because this does eventually have correlation to KAKUZU, so do keep that in mind. And as we further get into it, Hidan tries to ask the Two Tails to surrender, and basically she gets pissed off, and he'll say, I take that as a no then, and then KAKUZU actually gets worried and shows like a sign of stress and says, are you an idiot, Hidan? Into the fight that they have with the Two Tails where it's fully transformed. And, you know, Hidan says this is the two-tailed cat demon that's been called a wraith. You know, I guess that makes me a trapped mouse then. You know, and mind you, this does have correlation to KAKUZU, so do keep that in mind as well. And then we get further into with KAKUZU and Hidan's, like, relationship where they're talking to each other. Where KAKUZU says it's your turn to carry him. And then Hidan responds back with an attitude. Then KAKUZU gets pissed off and he's like, I swear I'll kill you someday. And then Hidan's like, oh, please, KAKUZU, not that again. Which is a very general pattern and a certain line of consistency that does happen between the two. So do keep that in mind as well. Then there's a statement from Asuma where he says the Akatsuki were strong enough to defeat Chiriku. Their abilities are formidable. You can never let your guard down around them. And he's referring obviously to Hidan and KAKUZU. And there's even a statement where we have KAKUZU to basically where he is like, I can have no other companion, and there's a reason for that. And he says all those who have paired with me in the past have died, and basically implying that, you know, he can't kill Hidan because due to his immortality. And the reason why this is important is because when he's stirred, the killing instinct in him awakens. And basically, you know, he says Hidan is unkillable, and that's why our partnership works. Then we have all the way in the instance where Kakashi is fighting against KAKUZU and Hidan. He says these two, they're strong, especially the one with the mask. One normally can't perform such high-level jutsu unless they're compatible with one's chakra natures, and yet he's already displayed earth, wind, and lightning, and things like that. So basically saying Hidan and KAKUZU are really strong, but he says especially KAKUZU due to him having access to all 5 chakra natures, you know, and being able to utilize them all at once simultaneously, as long with him being able to use his own body as a weapon as well. Okay, then we have further scaling statements where Shikamaru, Choji, and Ino are talking to KAKUZU during the war arc. And we've taken the Kin, the Shogi, Gold General. We know the moves of the Kaku, the Shogi, Bishop, and we know how to take you down as well. Basically, Shikamaru being confident in saying that him, Choji, and Ino would be enough to take down KAKUZU. And this is when KAKUZU has access to basically all 5 hearts as well. And KAKUZU just responds as to, oh, you took down Hidan, etc. Is where he's also stated to be like the deadliest member of the Akatsuki. And there's many ways to interpret that statement. Does that mean like he's the most powerful, you know? Or does that mean like, you know, he can kill the most out of everyone, you know, things like that? Or third, does it mean that, you know, due to just how long he's been alive, since he's technically been alive since the first Hokage's era, and he has all that experience, and he's probably killed many, many people because the main thing he cares for is money and basically obtaining as many bounties as possible. You know, that's probably what makes him the most deadliest, and, you know, and along with his behavior and tendencies of, like, where he's easily, you know, riled up, as he states with, you know, that one guy in the morgue area to where he says the reason why Hidan's a perfect partner is because he's the only one he can't kill, while every other partner he's had, he has killed them, because he's just so bloodlusted. So with him being the deadliest Akatsuki member, it's more than along those lines of logic and reasoning, but, you know, at the end of the day, everyone always has interpretations and where they try to lead it to, but just want to kind of put that out there. But that's the most you basically have for KAKUZU. He doesn't have a lot of narrative statements, if I'm being really honest with you. The only other statement he has that's, you know, pretty good for the narrative is where Asuma says that, you know, these two are stronger than me, and he's referring to Hidan and KAKUZU, and, you know, basically saying they're at a disadvantage, you know. So overall, that's the main narrative statements that KAKUZU has. As when we go down to Pain has a lot of very good narrative statements, and he just has an abundance amount of narrative statements in comparison to KAKUZU. It's kind of not fair, for being honest, but as we get into the first statement and data book of Pain, where it's basically the pupils of the 6 paths that God created by the cycle of war. Hunting Jinchuriki and capturing tail beasts, the Akatsuki work in secrecy. They are led by Pain. There's only one clue to unravel the mystery of his face, his eyes that possess the Rinnegan. This God who declares that Pain made him grow up has something for the world. Is it peace or destruction? All of humanity, all nations, the entire world, they will know Pain. So as you can already tell immediately within this data book of Pain, or even Nagato, like, he's clearly a very big deal. He's already having like a very big narrative emphasis of being like that guy and being like a god or some type of unstoppable force, right? And as we get further into it, the next statement for Pain, an invincible god and untold mysteries. And it just further explains, you know, the Rinnegan, that it possesses like a crazy amount of power, you know, and even Jiraiya, you know, decided to make him a pupil, recognizing that he could be the child of prophecy and things going along those lines. And it was said that Nagato can manipulate all 6 chakra natures, and they question, is it the power of the Rinnegan? Things like that. He even mastered all the jutsus that Jiraiya wanted to teach him as well. And basically the animals summoned by Pain, if one focuses on their eyes, one common trait becomes obvious. All their eyes have rippled patterns. Passive 6 paths of Pain. They summon 5 shinobi, known as the passive 6 paths, and who host the Rinnegan. They each possess frightening powers. such as rendering a jutsu ineffective and reconstructing bodies. They even share their field of vision. It is unclear if this amazing power comes from the Rinnegan. So as you can tell, there's a common consistency of Pain or Nagato being considered basically a god and, you know, just really, really strong, right? And it even says immortal. Because he is immortal, he is unbeatable. One path was dragged into the Kenkai space and his activity was stopped, but it is not known whether he is dead. And it goes on further, and it makes sense. They're dead bodies, they're dead corpse that, you know, Nagato manipulates with his chakra, things like that. And then it even says for his weapon, the six-pass weapon, it's a black belt-like blade. Even among the many ninja tools that exist today, there is nothing like this one, which pierces its victim, then disrupts the flow of chakra, which is really, really important. So basically, if you get stabbed, you're kind of, you know, screwed in a way, because you basically are having your chakra manipulated and could even be forced to not be able to move, etc. It's kind of similar to the Byakugan in a way, but different because you have to, you know, stab people with rods. Along with the data books of Pain and further statements, you know, then it gets even more crazier for Mr. Pain, where it says the shinobi of the Akatsuki each join with their own expectations. These shinobi who have the skill and talent to battle 1,000 men at once, why would they join an organization and obey Pain and capturing tail beasts? And the data book says the reason is Pain's charisma and his power that no one can deny. So not only is it his charisma, but it is also his power, which correlates to strength, you know what I mean, that no one can deny. And Pain boasts that he has never been defeated, and he makes plain his desire to reform the shinobi world, etc. So once again, it's getting really, really bad, as you guys can see when it comes to the statements so far. And as you guys can already tell, statements are definitely in Pain's favor and Nagato's favor in comparison to KAKUZU. Even further, along with this data book, it says the leader's word is absolute. No one dares to question his orders given with such majesty. And then we have the next data book statement where it says Pain, the invincible leader of the Akatsuki, even the strong members obey him. And that's, once again, just as you guys can see, is a common trend of consistency of him being considered the strongest of the Akatsuki over and over and over, and why they even obey him to begin with. And then he also has a data book for the Rainmaker Jutsu, where it says, as are the rains that surround the tears of shinobi crying for his village. It's a sensory ninjutsu Pain can manipulate at will, and basically is imbued with this chakra, and it rains every Sunday. Pain creates his rainfall from rain clouds that he forms with his own chakra. Each and every raindrop is intimately linked with his senses, because the chakra of those are not to block the rain. Pain is able to sense the presence of intruders. Pain always applies his jutsu when he leaves the village, maintaining watch over the village, which is pretty cracked, because this guy can basically leave his village and be away and then just sense any threats that evade while he's not even there, which is really strong, because if he leaves his summoning path of Pain, he can then summon all of them back, and then there you go, they can deal with the intruder, etc. And he was even able to detect Jiraiya. And what's even more impressive about it, which will eventually show it, is he can even detect your power level with the rain jutsu. So not only does it provide sensory and basically the ability to know where you're at and to detect people, no matter where he is and it's connected to him, he can even tell how strong you are, which is pretty strong. Okay, and then the next data book jutsu that he also has is basically the art of impersonation, and this jutsu is pretty fucking strong. Basically, Pain determines how much chakra to allocate and evokes the jutsu. Pain basically will send a portion of chakra of Akatsuki members to his target, creating a duplicate of that member, which to battle, and the abilities of the duplicate are proportional to the amount of chakra that is sent to it, and can use the abilities of the original person. However, when the chakra runs out, the jutsu is cancelled and the target dies. And this jutsu is just really, really strong, because it impersonates even the weapons and ninja tools of the original to battle alongside the original himself. So meaning, whether if it's an MS, a shotgun, ninja tools, weapons, whatever, ninjutsu, it's exactly the same. The target's ninjutsu is identical to that of the original person's. Even the fire style, fireball technique of the Uchiha clan is perfectly replicated. So this jutsu is absolutely cracked. If Pain really wanted to, he could literally make a clone of Itachi or whoever, Obito, you name it, and just send them and go beat up people or whatnot, or do whatever he desires. But it's really, really strong. It's very, very strong. Imagine Pain just doing this to anyone he chooses in the Akatsuki just to go fight whoever he wants. It's a very, very strong technique, and this can definitely be utilized in like strategy, etc., you name it. And the next book statement is jutsu absorption. It's an endless whirlpool that sucks away every jutsu. This jutsu causes the body's chakra circulation to flow in reverse, sucking away the jutsu of the target. The absorbed chakra disperses inside the body, and the power is sucked away as if a bottomless swamp. So it's a really, really strong jutsu. Basically, it's, you know, implying that it's infinite, and regardless of the chakra properties, it's sucked away and rendered ineffective. The more for the statement is a god that handles his 6 paths. He puts an end to the world by any means of pain. And basically, you know, Nagato led the Akatsuki. The wish of this man had planned the total destruction, was making the war end. That is peace. Nagato has lost his family because of the ravages of war, tried to help the world with his strength. And it goes on furthermore. The statement with, you know, the data book with Kakashi, you know, where it says, you know, basically Kakashi trained every day after the KAKUZU arc, which resulted in him becoming stronger he had ever had been, allowing him to successfully gather intel against Pain, the most powerful member of the Akatsuki. And it's even stated several times in the manga where like Itachi and Nagato are standing next to each other, and it says the strongest Akatsuki members, you know. It even says like when Pain is going to go after Naruto, it says the strongest Akatsuki member is, you know, arrived, is, you know, sent to be capturing Naruto, things like that. So once again, there is just so much line of consistency and narrative within the statements of Pain basically being claimed to be the strongest in comparison to the Akatsuki organization. Kushina, who's talking with his mother, Naruto asks her why, you know, she was even being used to basically be the Jinchuriki host of the Nine Tails. And she says, I was born with particularly a powerful chakra, strong even from one from my village, strong enough to suppress the Nine Tails, etc. And this is really important, and she even says that's why the wife of the first Hokage was also put through as well. And it makes sense, because Nagato, as a kid, remind you, was able to use the Rinnegan 10 years old. He was able to use both Rinnegan to kill some random like ninja from Konoha. They had to be a Chunin or a Jonin based with the jacket that they had. But either way, it's very impressive. The fact that he could wield 2 Rinnegan along, you know what I mean, with just like killing high level shinobi as well, is pretty impressive. And we even see like consistent showings where Kushina, after giving birth, on the verge of death, completely exhausted, can still even like immediately suppress and deal with the full Nine Tails and just wrap it around her with her chains and everything as well. So it's like, you know, when you basically are part of this clan, you have a ridiculous, enormous amount of chakra. And if you guys still don't believe further, like even Obito says it during the war arc, that, you know, even this one's eyes chakra and ocular powers are so strong, I started losing myself. Yet I, who am not its original owner, was able to accomplish this much with just one. With ocular powers, only with both eyes together can their full power be unleashed, you know, etc. So even Obito, someone of his caliber, could not even be able to utilize barely even one Rinnegan itself. So once again, Nagato is a beast, or even Pain, and it just goes to really show how cracked Nagato really is when it comes to utilizing Rinnegan, his chakra capacity and amount, etc. And then we even see Madara using the Rinnegan, where he says, have you gone, you know, crazy, Inoki? The Rinnegan can absorb all jutsu, so such a ninjutsu will not work on me. If you want to kill me, you need to hit me hard, take me down, then seal me away. So even against particle style, and we know how cracked particle style is. And as we get further with the narrative, then there's even a statement where basically Obito's talking about Nagato to, like, he would never think he'd betray him or whatever, that it's just crazy. And then, you know, it is what it is. And then, you know, even though he died, like, you know, he has a plan for it. And Zetsuda says, I can't believe you had actually foreseen the possibility that Nagato might die. And then Obito says that's a precaution, but we've definitely fallen off my ideal path. Thanks to the, you know, Naruto, he caused our plans to shift, you know, and so on and so forth, you know. So overall, like we have Zetsu and even Obito believing that they would never think Pain would be defeated or die, but Obito just in case had a contingency plan. And Zetsu's like, you're on crack for that. And if just in case if you guys question the integrity of Zetsu or anything, Zetsu literally like says his verbatim during the war arc, where, you know, Obito says, why don't you unattach yourself and take the Rinnegan off my body while Kakashi and Minato and KCM are there? And he says, no, the moment I separate from you, these two will kill me. before I grabbed the Rinnegan. Have you forgotten that I was the Akatsuki's intel gatherer? I know the strengths and abilities of these two. So that alone just like blatantly shows in correspondence with what he was saying about Pain, that would further deduce the transparency in him basically gauging Pain and Nagato over all the other Akatsuki members such as Head-On, KAKUZU, Sasori, Datara, things like that. And that's generally, what most people even like to bring this statement up for as well. Like, a majority of people actually do agree with the statement. The Slug tells Shikamaru that Naruto has asked no one to interfere, and Shikamaru gets mad and says he's so full of himself. Pain destroyed our village. He wants to fight them alone. He's like, no. And then his dad interferes, and he says if he's mastered Seijutsu, he's in a class of his own. Our best teamwork is to stay out of his way and not to be a drag on him. And you need to be patient here, Shikamaru. Basically just flat out saying that Pain and Sage Naruto are just built different at this point, and they're really, really powerful. So meaning Shikamaru, knowing everybody that's in the village, considers Pain and Naruto to just be in an entirely class of their own, and that anyone that would even try to get involved to help would just be a nuisance and a burden to Naruto. And it would just be counterproductive. A fodder range shinobi is talking with Jiraiya. And he says the Civil War has long been over, and we're the ones who won. And Jiraiya starts sweating and very surprised. And he says that's why Lord Pain is a legend. He defeated the Hidden Rain Village all by himself. And Jiraiya is like, you could like literally see in like this panel, his face expression, he's completely blown away and just says unbelievable, ... and is very, very serious. And he's like insane with the fact that Pain could defeat Hanzo and also the entire Hidden Range military village by himself. And he says no matter how powerful this Pain might be, there truly were no shinobi that didn't know the name of the previous Hidden Rain leader, Hanzo of the Giant Salamander. He's like, that's right, and Hanzo was vigilant, even given his great abilities. It was very difficult to get near him. He surrounded himself with guards 24/7 and required full body frisk of all who ever approached him, even children. And then, like, you even have more statements, which is this is stated verbatim by Jiraiya, to where he possessed the same people at the stage of 6 paths, not only mastered every jutsu I taught him, he demonstrated the ability to achieve all 6 chain chakra nature to use them, which is unheard of in a single person. And he possessed power that was well versed in all mainstream ninjutsu, and I mastered all sorts of jutsu by the mere age of 10 using both Rinnegan from Madara Uchiha. Hanzo is basically, you could tell he's like, his chest is bleeding, he got like sliced up and whatnot. And, Pain says, have you forgotten my face? And he's like, you are Yaiko of the Akatsuki, but you're supposed to be dead, what's going on? And then Pain talks his shit, basically. He's like, I once respected you, but you have changed. And then Hanzo's like, what are you? How do you have so much power? And then he says, you don't even know why you've lost. Begone, Hanzo. And to finalize the narrative statements in comparison and contrast with KAKUZU and Pain, or aka even Nagato, where basically even Itachi says, with your 6 paths power and the Rinnegan and my Mingekyo Sharingan, we could literally do anything. Basically Itachi just saying like, they're just built different and they're the top dogs of the Akatsuki. Where even Kabuto sends literally Itachi and Nagato and says, they found me. If I have control of the 8 and 9-tailed beast, Madara will fall right into my hands. Too bad I won't be able to see his stupid expression of a shock under that ridiculous mask when he figures out I've won. So even Kabuto thought like, Itachi and Nagato were like the only ones like basically to be formidable enough to fight and combat against someone like KCM Naruto and even like Killer Bee, and not sending anyone else, but he wants to send Itachi and Nagato out of all people. That would basically be the general consensus of comparing and contrasting of KAKUZU and Pain and Nagato when it comes to the narrative databook statements and even statements within the narrative itself. And so obviously Pain and Nagato already have a point in their corner. They're already so far winning this contest. Like, come on guys, it's not even close at that point. Like, it's blatantly clearly obvious who has the most strongest narrative evidence in comparison. So, but we'll move on to the next point, which would basically be the video game. This is in Naruto Storm Revolution, where it's basically about the origin and creation of the Akatsuki, along with giving some more origin story detail with Itachi and Shisui, and also Minato. To get into the canonicity of this game, or whether to argue if it's canon or not, I will eventually have a video in the future explaining why the certain Naruto games are canon, along with certain movies and even the anime itself. But that will be up for a whole other video entirely. But like I said before in the beginning of this video, we were going to be going through every layer of Naruto scaling that we have available, which would include the game. So that's what we're going to be getting into. And this game does give us a direct comparison and contrast between KAKUZU as well. So, as a matter of fact, where it gets even really, really bad for KAKUZU, we even see Pain fighting against KAKUZU. He's actually sent from Obito to go get KAKUZU while Obito goes to retrieve Itachi. And the way the conversation starts is they both basically start talking shit to each other. So KAKUZU talks to Pain and says in response that I don't want to join the Akatsuki. I don't care about that junk. The only thing I care about is money. Pain responds and says whether you care or not isn't the issue. I insist that you join us. And KAKUZU says you are pretty bold, aren't you? And he says, or you are a fool who doesn't know who's stronger. So he's already flexing and trying to be alpha in this situation. And then he says, it doesn't seem like you're worth anything. And then Pain says, so you wish to fight me? Fine, have it your way. And if I win, you will join the Akatsuki. So basically, that's what occurs in their first interaction with each other. And then basically while they're fighting, Pain says, know the power of a god and tremble in fear. And then KAKUZU says, it seems you are no ordinary ninja. And this is dialogue that's taking place while you're playing the game and fighting KAKUZU. So it's narrative dialogue that's occurring between the two characters. KAKUZU says his eyes don't look normal. Could it be a type of Sharingan? And then Pain says, join the Akatsuki. That is your only path in life. And then Pain roasts KAKUZU right when he beats him. And he says, did you dream of triumphing over me? How laughable. And mind you, this is only Tendo Pain, by the way. And KAKUZU's kneeling over him, and Tendo Pain says, you have lost, KAKUZU. And it's basically, that's it. And then KAKUZU says, but this power of yours, what is it? And Pain says, I am a god who has saved this world. So once again, as you guys can clearly tell, Kishimoto is constantly within the narrative, statements, you name it, etc. The emphasis is very strong with Pain or Nagato being a god, right? And then just clearly being above certain members of the Akatsuki because, he's a god and he's literally the top tier and even the leader of Akatsuki, And as we get further more into the game, we even see Pain no diff for Orochimaru, one of the legendary Sannin, where he does one Amadi push while Orochimaru tries to blitz him and sends him basically flying across the goddamn, world, or looking like a pretzel, like a snake. And then Orochimaru just concedes right after, and just even himself says he can't take the Rinnegan on. Then we see KAKUZU again fighting against Hidan, where he's basically, him and Orochimaru were sent to retrieve Hidan, and KAKUZU is showing basically equal scaling to fight against Hidan the entire time. Hidan's able to tank a fire style, wind style combo attack from Orochimaru and KAKUZU, which is actually very impressive. Goes to show how strong his immortality is. And KAKUZU continues to fight Hidan, they go on, and eventually they're able to, kind of persuade him to join the Akatsuki after fighting for a good while. And that's basically all the information you have for the video game for Naruto that basically has any, scaling remotely for KAKUZU and Pain's interaction, along with KAKUZU's interaction with other Akatsuki members. And, that's about it. There's probably even further more evidence in the game to what KAKUZU can do with scaling and even along with Pain. But I haven't played the games and I haven't gone over them in a long while. I just only knew about Naruto Storm Revolution. And not only that, unfortunately, Naruto Storm Revolution is the only game that has an abundance of evidence that you can actually argue to be canon and is considered canon even by Kishimoto himself. So basically that's that, and that's the only reason why I wanted to go over this game in particular. So as for the next set of evidence that we will be discussing will be the anime, and as you guys already can tell, Nagato and Pain has 2 points in the corner and he's already winning, so KAKUZU is still losing at number 0, unfortunately. The only feats and statements we have basically Pain fighting against, Sage Mode Naruto, where he's basically able to go blow for blow with the guy and have a very competitive battle, and which is very, very impressive because Sage Mode Naruto is very, very strong, and even stronger than basically, the Naruto that fought KAKUZU in that arc where he only had, a baby QB amp, and along with, even base Naruto as lead Pain, where, he's fighting against V2 Naruto, which is Six Tails. He's literally going blow for blow. He's tanking attacks and whatnot, getting hit, which is very impressive because when Orochimaru got hit, he was like disintegrating immediately and getting burned and whatnot. while Pain can tank multiple blows. He can, even like in the anime even applies that he can be killed, but then Nagato could just put chakra into the body and bring it back to life, which is really, really crazy. He even has like protective barriers that he can use to basically block all the Dragon Ball Z ki blasts that V2 Naruto is shooting at him. And Naruto originally starts in Four Tails, and Pain just no-diffs Four Tails by himself while fatigued and not even at full power. He just does universal pull and basically wraps a bunch of wood and rocks around him, and then throws his rod and makes the the V2 Nine Tails Naruto be on fire. And then it transforms to Six Tails because he gets pissed off. They have a further on fight, and basically Pain just goes blow for blow with Six Tails V2 Naruto, dodging all the attacks, blocking, you name it, even hitting V2 Naruto where it actually causes to hurt V2 Naruto. It makes like a noise in the anime when he actually lands the blow. And he continues to make barriers to block all the ki blasts and whatnot. He like cuts up apart like big rocks and trees, with his Shinra Tensei to like slam it on the V2 Six Tails. He even says V2 Six Tails is fast. He never says that about Sage Mode Naruto. He says that about V2 Six Tails Naruto, saying he's very fast. So meaning you could even argue V2 Six Tails Naruto is even more faster than Sage Mode Naruto, and that Sage Mode Naruto maybe has some form of relativity, but there's that as well. And Pain is still able to keep up and fight and go blow for blow. And he's even able to do Shinra Tensei, but we know what happens. It gets reversed in the recoil. But to be fair, Pain isn't at full power. He's very, very fatigued at this point, and so basically that's the reason why he more than likely wasn't able to successfully do that. But as we further get more, Pain runs and runs, and he's able to outrun and outspeed V2 Six Tails Naruto, which is very, very impressive. Before with Sage Mode Naruto, like Pain's able to catch his attacks, he's able to go blow for blow with kicks and punches. And this is the summoning path of Pain that can go blow for blow with Sage Mode Naruto, which is very, very impressive. And even the summoning path is able to tank multiple taijutsu blows when you can't even see him, which is very impressive. And Naruto has to land 2 Sage Art Risingans in order to take him out. He's even able to hit Tendo Pain multiple times, and Tendo Pain's blocking over and over. And he's able to also survive the attacks and not get one shot or anything. Even able to tank a kick as well and block it accordingly. Furthermore, to finalize the anime feats for Pain and Nagato, we even see like Pain go to fight the Six Tails Jinchuriki, to where he's able to shit on the V-Tail Six Tails Jinchuriki. Like he absolutely just slams. The summoning path of Pain can react to his V2 attacks, stabs the tail on the ground. The summoning path of Pain can absorb his his heat ninjutsu. The chameleon is able to blitz and immediately restrain the V2 Jinchuriki, which is a common consistency that actually occurs, which is very relevant eventually for when we show the manga as well. And Tendo Pain can even do a Shinra Tensei to completely fold the V2 Six Tails, is able to beat it up. And basically is able to throw rods and immediately blitz all its tails and literally depower him. And then have the Osteopath of Pain basically shoot a bunch of missiles and then shoot its like head cannon blast and basically blow him the fuck up, and he just gets completely just beat up and done, and he was just down for the count. And then Pain basically captured the Six Tails and basically low diffed the Six Tails. The Six Tails did land one blow on one of the passive Pains, but it was technically an off guard moment. What's it called? Like he didn't expect it to escape. He thought it was captured. But either way, regardless, Pain he was just revived those two and then went on from there. But now for KAKUZU, it just, once again, guys, it gets really, really, really bad. So like, I'm really, really not trying to crap on KAKUZU, but it's really bad, So we get with KAKUZU in the anime. He's shown like to have a 1v1 fight with Hit-On. He speed blitzes Hit-On with like his tentacle punch, but Hit-On doesn't even move and allows it because he's immortal. And then basically like, what's it called? Hit-On takes it out. He gets his blood. He kills one of his hearts immediately, and KAKUZU says, "I'll kill you." Hit-On says, "No, you can't," and just goes on from there. And when we see when they're partners, Hit-On is able to piss KAKUZU off. KAKUZU like does diamond armor on his hand, and he immediately goes to swing at Hit-On, and Hit-On can block his attack, showing that they're blatantly equal to each other in scaling. We see KAKUZU go to fight the monk with Hit-On, and he's getting speed blitz multiple times with the spiritual punch move and just getting hit over and over along with Hit-On. And basically they're losing in a 2v1 situation, and things like that. So There's that as well to put into consideration. When he tried to have like a taijutsu exchange with the monk and he used diamond armor in his fist, the monk immediately reacted and just like dealt with his attack effortlessly and just basically, bitched him like he was nothing. So they ended up succeeding in killing the monk at the end of the day, but just want to put that out there. It's anime only feats, so it is relevant to bring into the discussion. To get further into the anime, we eventually see KAKUZU fight the two Chunin. There's actually more feats in the anime where he's basically struggling to high tier Chunin. Now, even though they're Chunin, I'm not going to be dishonest and downplay KAKUZU because of that. These are technically the like peak of the Chunin. You know what I mean? They're pretty strong. They're at least blatantly Jonin level. And they're able to like give KAKUZU a run for his money. He actually even says it verbatim that they're giving me a good, run for my money. And they're able to fight against his tentacle attacks and try to go blow for blow with him, and even their weapons able to be faster than his tentacles, and they give him a decent fight, but KAKUZU is able to overpower them and beat them. And then KAKUZU also goes blow for blow and has a taijutsu against one of the Jonin, aka Oba, who's basically a Jonin specialist to take down the Akatsuki. So there's that as well. He's also able to fight against Choji. And he basically beats up Choji really bad. Like, he deals with all his partial transformation and just beats up Choji. But the crazy thing is we know KAKUZU's bloodlusted. He's not going to be holding back. And he hits Choji multiple times, but he couldn't even kill Choji. Like, he couldn't kill him. He even, slams his kick into Choji into the tree, and he couldn't kill him. And then he went to, and then he does diamond armor, stab Choji and says die, basically. He's trying to Shidori him, but with, Earth style, basically. And then, Choji gets saved. So it's like, and Ino throws a kunai, and he has to dodge the kunai, and then that's why Choji was saved. So it's it's just hilarious, because like the fact that KAKUZU needs Diamond Worth in order to kill Choji is pretty crazy. And then, then he fights, Choji and Ino. He starts beating them up, and then he's, choking them. And then Shikamaru comes and literally, does, a water-style jutsu from a scroll, and then uses KAKUZU's own lightning style against him, and literally electrocutes KAKUZU. And then he throws a kunai with a paper bomb and forces KAKUZU to basically, escape. And then Shikamaru is able to save Ino and Choji. So, even Shikamaru is having blatant equal scaling against KAKUZU when it comes to, his base body. And even him having access to use his tentacles. Then we see further more feats with Kakashi versus KAKUZU in a 1v1 exchange with taijutsu. And basically they're just going blow for blow and you name it, and it's clearly they're equal to each other. KAKUZU lands some pretty good blows on Kakashi and is able to swing him around with his tentacles and then throw him. Kakashi's able to use the primary Lotus on KAKUZU and force him to use a water clone, things like that. So you have those feats as well. And then the last feats that KAKUZU has is against basically his mask, or fighting against Tenten out of all characters. And even Tenten's able to deal with all the mask creatures and basically be able to one-shot them all with the six-path tool. And then we even have KAKUZU fighting against Darui in the anime with more feats, and they're just going taijutsu and blow for blow, things like that. So overall, in comparison with everything we've seen so far, it just... Once again, it looks really, really bad for KAKUZU. I feel like we're really crapping on him, but at the end of the day, comparing the feats and everything they have, it's like what more can I tell you at this point? You know what I mean? KAKUZU's basically consistently fighting against, high tier Jonin, Shikamaru, things like that, even Darui, you name it, while Pain can basically fight and beat up everybody and then go blow for blow with Sagemo Naruto. Sagemo Naruto, out of all characters, who is a beast. But that's basically anime. The most feats that you can basically utilize for the anime only. Everything else is basically in the manga as well, and that's what KAKUZU is able to use reaction speed and combat speed to basically deal with the Two Tails full transformation attack, where it throws a pulse strike and KAKUZU tries to catch it, but he fails miserably and basically gets slammed under the ground. And he's basically dealt with and out of the picture. Alan has to jump away from the fireball, and he has to jump and get out of the way. And he even says, ouch, hot, from it melting the rock. And he said, I thought cats' tongues couldn't tolerate heat. Things like that. And then he says, I guess that makes me a trapped mouse then, goes along from there. What a joke. Then we see, hit on ending the fight with the ritual, which is basically a common consistency you will see throughout the entire narrative as we go through. We even see in the background that potentially she also shot a Biju bomb, and whatnot, because it caused all that destruction and went through to put into consideration. The same thing against the monk. They both go to fight the monk, you name it, and then basically it skips, and we see Hidan basically doing the ritual once again. A common consistency. Once again, this is also notable to say where we have Asuma, where they basically tell Asuma, you know, that the monk died, and then Asuma has like a sweat among his face and very shocked about that. It's kind of similar with like Jiraiya with Hanzo all over again. And, you know, he's like, you know, that, you know, his friend, no way. Basically, like, you know, thinking like that's pretty crazy, you know. And basically, Sarada is like, I want you to find them and assert their motives, but be warned, they're quite formidable, you know, and then so on and so forth. Asuma throws some shuriken at Hidan. You know, they have like a full fight, have an exchange. Shikamaru is able to dodge a surprise attack from KAKUZU from full speed. And Shikamaru is even able to outrun KAKUZU while Asuma can get in front and basically defend him. And KAKUZU has to stop in his tracks. Okay, then there's further feats of Asuma and Hidan being equal, and they're fighting and everything. Then we even see the tuning in the manga of KAKUZU as well. It goes very similar in the anime, but it just shows less feats, basically. You know, and it goes from there. KAKUZU is able to deal with them eventually. KAKUZU gets attacked by one of the Jonin, and he's able to use diamond armor in order to deal with the ebony blade as well. So he's able to activate jutsu activation to protect himself. And then even Oba, like in the manga as well, he even says like, hurry, whatever, I'll keep these two busy. To where he's able to fight against KAKUZU and Hidan. Even have Pain as well shown where he says, but as long as you're a member of the Akatsuki, you will contribute to its goals. You know, things like that. Basically, you know, flexing his power and saying that, you know, it doesn't matter what you want to do, you got to listen to me. Where, you know, Hidan wants to go back on the same route to go kill all those people. And then even KAKUZU's like, are you stupid? You know, we'll be ambushed. We'll take a different route to Konoha. After all, it's Jinchuriki we're after. So even KAKUZU is being like calculated and tactical and doesn't want to get ambushed by a bunch of, you know, elite Konoha shinobi and etc. So just further proving that, like, you know, KAKUZU clearly has limits and he's not like a guy that can just solo an entire village. But, you know, there's that into consideration. Then we see KAKUZU have his 2v1 fight with Shikamaru, where basically, you know, Shikamaru is like pressing him with his shadow possession, and Shikamaru throws a paper bomb. You know, it goes from there. And then Hidan got worried. He yells KAKUZU, and then KAKUZU says, I hardened my arm, so I'm fine. You know, blatantly proving that, once again, KAKUZU's base, you know, durability is trash, and he needs clearly diamond armor to be able to survive most attacks. Shikamaru is able to capture both of them, you know, and then KAKUZU is able to get out with using his tentacles, and he's able to dodge Hidan's strike as well. And then literally Shikamaru was able to press KAKUZU to back up to the tree with Hidan's taijutsu attacks, and then force Shoji to have an opening to try to land a blow on KAKUZU. And then KAKUZU does his diamond morph armor on his entire body in order to survive the blow from Choji. And then Kakashi is able to speed blitz KAKUZU from behind by using a Chidori. He goes to speed blitz Hidan as well with the Chidori, but then KAKUZU comes and speed blitz Kakashi from using a surprise attack as well. Hidan says, let's just go with the usual, telling KAKUZU, you know, to double team Kakashi. And they start doing a 2v1, and Kakashi's basically fighting Hidan blow for blow, along with fighting KAKUZU's mask puppets at the same time as well. And then Shikamaru also does his shadow possession, and he forces KAKUZU and Hidan to basically back away, you name it, etc. And basically he's not, you know, he's not able to do anything. Hidan is also having a tough time. And then even in like, you know, and then from here, like basically we even see like Kakashi, where he's basically having to fight. Kakashi comes up to KAKUZU and he says, you're mine, basically not allowing KAKUZU to help against Shikamaru with Hidan. And then Kakashi is going in exchange with ninjutsu while KAKUZU uses a fire style enhanced with wind. And Kakashi is able to momentarily delay the attack with water style, which is very impressive in Kakashi's part. And pretty bad for KAKUZU because, once again, he has the elemental advantage, yet KAKUZU's not able to go through it immediately and kill. Speed blitz Kakashi from the behind eventually and land some tentacles and grab him to the ground. Eventually, KAKUZU loses the heart due to Shikamaru outsmarting and using KAKUZU's blood. But KAKUZU is still fighting. He transforms into his transformation to become stronger and to have range attacks and be faster. Even Kakashi says he's fast, and KAKUZU is able to speed blitz him in close range. Then Yamato and Naruto come and use Wind Style Rasengan along with a Water Style Torrent, and basically are able to deal with KAKUZU's Fire Style, Wind Style enhanced attack. KAKUZU even says another weirdo shows up and is already disheveled, and it's base Naruto, basically saying he's already fatigued. And then Naruto goes to run at Kakuzu, saying, yeah, 5 hearts, 3 more kills, I got it. Even Yamato's impressed with Kakuzu being a formidable opponent to Kakashi, saying no wonder Kakashi had a hard time, that he's a mid-distance fighter, and he could use several different chakra changes in nature. And then basically, Kakuzu deals with Naruto's shadow doppelgangers, and he says he'll never win with that. Naruto, while with a small baby QB imp, says based on his assault speed and battle style, he's going to need at least 3 doppelgangers for the diversion alone. So, and then Kakashi is basically saying that, oh, he's mastered how to use shadow clones and utilize them for strategy. Then Kakuzu sees the ability that Naruto does, the Rising Shuriken, which is only 50% complete, remind you. And he says, what is that jutsu? He has a sweat on his face. He's like, if I get hit with that, that'll be really bad. I must not let that happen. And Kakuzu deals with Naruto's shadow clones. And basically, Naruto is able to get behind. Kakuzu deals with more clones. He's able, basically he's dealing with one of them, in the air. So it's 3 of them that are charging, right? He deals with 2 of them with ninjutsu, deals with the other one with the tentacles. And Naruto's able to get behind, and he would have speed blitzed Kakuzu, and even Kakuzu looks at him, he's like, And then he basically turns, but it would have been too late, and Naruto would have killed him right there and then. But the jutsu basically fizzled, and it fell short. And then Kakashi, says his boy is always full of surprises. He runs, Yamato runs. They both are able to press Kakuzu and save Naruto. So even while Kakuzu is in his strongest form and has more chakra and faster, Kakashi and Yamato can still combat against him. Kakashi basically cuts, his tentacles. Yamato also, tries to hit him with wood style. Kakuzu has to dodge. Then Yamato is able to force him and press him back as well. Kakuzu goes to his final transformation and basically says, I better shift to a long-range style instead of mid-range. And then Yamato gets worried. He's sweating. He's like, he didn't just transform. That's a lot of chakra. He's preparing for Naruto's jutsu. Naruto does the same strategy again, using only 3 shadow clones, but he was actually running along with his doppelgangers, and he basically set Kakuzu up and basically had him pretend like the original was actually behind. Kakuzu basically the speed blitzes the shadow clone that was in front of him, and he says he was in the crowd and he's not able to react fast enough to deal with Naruto from behind. Gets speed blitz from Naruto and basically is blown the fuck up. And then even Kakashi says if Naruto basically didn't show up, that he didn't even need to use the Mangekyo Sharingan this time. But if you hadn't shown up when you did, I would have had no choice. And then I'd be in bed right now, basically implying that he would have defeated Kakuzu with the MS Sharingan bare minimum. Because Sakura asked him why he wasn't in bed. And then he says, you're strong to Naruto, you may even surpass me eventually. And Kakashi even roasted Kakuzu. He even told him, you fight the first Hokage. I guess I can't blame you for seeing us as kids. And here you are dying, hugging the earth like a worm. One by one, the new generation will catch up to you and they will surpass you in the end. Basically saying Naruto surpassed him and beat him, etc. Or even Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji were able to dodge Kakuzu's fire style attacks and ninjutsu attacks. In the anime, they're also able to do the same multiple times, even to the lightning style and fire style as well. In the war arc, we see Kakuzu running along in sync and formation with Itachi, and we see that. Then we see Kakuzu pull up in the war arc where he's basically talking to Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji. And he has all 5 hearts, and then basically, they we got to take him down 5 times. He also gets speed blitzed by the 2 Chunin that were able to surprise attack him as well. And basically, Kakuzu uses his mask hearts and he goes to fight everyone. And it basically moves on from there. And Shikamaru's dad tells Dari to or he tells the 2 Chunin to help Dari take Kakuzu down. Kakuzu uses Earth style, Dari uses lightning, so he's basically the counter. And then he tells Shikamaru, Ino, and Choji to go fight against Asuma. Tenten's also shown in the manga to deal with the mask as well. So the mask are literally Tenten level. And it's shown with Choji basically subduing Kakuzu. And so Darui, and with the combined effort of the Chunin. And eventually Choji coming along, he was subdued and dealt with. So that's basically what you have there. Then we see Nagato and Itachi. And they come through. And the people that they're having to fight against is KCM Naruto. Where Nagato is basically able to pull Naruto and not get speed blitzed. He's also able to summon his summonings and give Naruto a hard time, while the dog is able to tank a Rising Shuriken from a freaking KCM Naruto and is still perfectly fine. To do a mighty push on Amaterasu, he's able to move so fast that Naruto didn't even know where he went and couldn't even perceive him. And he says, where did he go? And then he gets speed blitzed by Nagato with Shinra Tensei using the chameleon to hide. And then Killer Bee basically runs up to Nagato, tries to land an attack in V2, and he dodges the attack with white hair and a crippled body here, mind you, not even at full power. Then Killer Bee does the lariat. He lets Killer Bee hit him. He takes his chakra. He now has red hair, basically implying that he's at full power. He is able to speed blitz KCM Naruto with the chameleon and then grab his soul. He's able to send Killer Bee away with the Shinra Tensei as well. And then while he is ripping Naruto's soul out, Naruto tries to hit him with a Rasengan, and he just effortlessly absorbs the ninjutsu, and nothing can be done about it. So basically, and then Nagato literally deals with Killer Bee's attacks with the linked vision. He's able to perceive him, no diff Killer Bee as well, and basically is about to kill Killer Bee and Naruto. He has like a crazy looking like alien weapon pointing at Killer Bee, and is literally about to kill Naruto at the same time in the same process. Then it takes for Itachi to basically come from behind to use a surprise attack and speed blitz Nagato as well. And he was able to do that by severing the vision of the linked vision of the Rinnegan by using attacking blind spots with his Shuriken Jutsu. And then Nagato is able to perform Chubaku Tensei without getting blitzed by Itachi while he has his Susanoo already out in front, which is very impressive because we do know how strong and fast Itachi is as well. And while basically Chubaku Tensei is being utilized, Naruto's freaking out and saying he unleashed his jutsu before. It's really bad. If you get caught in it, you're done for. Even saying Itachi and him and Killer Bee, if they're put in it, they will basically be sealed and there's nothing they could do. And they basically have to use their three strongest jutsu, which is a Ryzen Shuriken, the Yada Beads, and a Biju Bomb from 8 Tails Full Transformation. And literally, that's what it takes to deal with the Chubaku Tensei. And then with the explosion, it created a big dust field, which basically allowed a diversion and an opening, and Itachi was able to speed blitz Nagato with the Totsuka Blade. So even with all the feats as Edo Tensei to Edo Tensei in the manga, okay, it just doesn't look good at all, unfortunately. When it comes to KAKUZU in comparison, it looks really, really bad. You know what I mean? And mind you, that's like just Edo Tensei feats to Edo Tensei, along with like KAKUZU's feats in the manga as well, with head-on against all, all the Jonin, Shikamaru, Kakashi, and Asuma. And then it just gets even worse because then we see Pain pull up to the Hidden Leaf in the manga, and he's able to pull up to the village, fight the entire Konoha military, and just beat them all up, okay? He's able to fight against Kakashi. Even Kakashi says verbatim, like, I can't believe Lord Jiraiya took on 6 of them at once. That's crazy. Kakashi's basically getting beat the hell up and just getting low diff the entire time. And he even concedes and says, Pain, I've got no choice, no chance if I fight them alone. I need backup and I need to let the others know what the abilities of these two are. I have to get a hold of them I have to hold out as long as I can. And Pain is basically killing Kakashi over and over. Kakashi's being forced to use Shadow Clones in substitution. And then Pain is even able to deal with, like Choji's dad and Choji as well, along with Kakashi being there. He even forced Kakashi to use the MS Sharingan, something that KAKUZU couldn't even do, remind you. Battle, like, we literally see, like, Pain, he's able to fight the entire village with his summoning path, all the other paths of Pains, and they're basically putting a lot of pressure against the entire village, and he's spamming all kinds of Rinnegan abilities. So, like, he's clearly not even at full power anymore. He's getting fatigued more throughout, but he's still able to just slam and body the entire village of Konoha. Pains is shown to beat up Ebisu as well, which is Konohamaru's teacher, things like that. He's able to deal with him effortlessly and all the other people. That Path of Pain does get blitzed by a Rasengan by Konohamaru when he's mentally amped, but Konohamaru wasn't able to take it out, the Path of Pain, either. If he was in the Path of Pain, would not have been able to bring the other Paths of Pains back to life, which was the Ashura Path. That was eventually taken out by Choji and Choji's dad and Kakashi. Furthermore, like, backtracking with the whole, like, Sage of Naruto, you name it, and that level of chain scaling and whatnot. Like, Paul literally says, as to base Naruto, you're definitely not strong enough to defeat Pain yet. And mind you, this is along with his interaction with fighting against Sage Mode Jiraiya. So he's like, so come along with me. I'll train you in Sage Jutsu at Mount Migabuku. The same way I hammered it into Jiraiya Boy. And Naruto says, will it let me win against Pain? He says that I can't guarantee, but right now you ain't got a chance at all. So even with Sage Mode, he even says he doesn't even know and he can't guarantee that as well. And the reason why this is important is because Sage Mode, as we all know, basically is mixing up your mental and physical energies along with nature energy. Tour involves taking that generated chakra and adding nature energy from the outside, resulting in an even more powerful chakra than you normally already have. And it leads to your ninjutsu, genjutsu, and even taijutsu getting a real power boost, meaning it'd be stronger than the Naruto that we even saw fighting against KAKUZU even before. Mode is where Paul is able to lift up big boulders, and even Naruto in base is like, how are you lifting that? So even he couldn't even be able to do it in base. Jiraiya Boy, who wasn't able to completely master it, when he manipulated Sage Chakra, Jiraiya Boy always acquired some frog features, and he was one of the best at using Sage Mode. So even Jiraiya wasn't like perfect at using it. And the way that really works in a nutshell is basically when it comes to Sage Mode, just in a simple consensus, to where if you take in too little, you won't get Sage Chakra. If you take in too much, you'll become a frog. And then if it's all about balanced, where you need a certain amount, and that's what would dictate your power level. And you need to have a powerful chakra, an enormous amount of chakra to even do Sage Mode as well. Even like Paul even says about Naruto when he does like Sage Mode, he's displaying the rings around the eyes are proofs of a successful Sage Mode, and no frog aspects either. This might even mean Naruto Boy has become a Sage exceeding Jiraiya Boy. And he says it seems he's able to build up even more of Sage Chakra than when he was using the oil too. And then Naruto falls from like a very tall height, lands on spikes, and basically says, ow, and he says it doesn't hurt that much. So he does take pain, but clearly it also increases your durability as well. It says that as Sage Mode, your whole body becomes activated in all different ways. Now that you've mastered Sage Mode, you've got one final step left. He's like, it's time to teach you basically frog taijutsu, which is also very powerful and broken. And then we see Pain fighting against Naruto, where he does a formation. Mind you, he's very fatigued at this point, and he has no Tendo power as well. Naruto is able to throw a punch at one of the passive Pains. He can dodge Sage Mode Naruto's punch, and then he gets hit by an invisible Sage Mode Chakra attack, basically, that's able to land successfully. And then basically the bird tries to strike at Naruto. Naruto dodges and jumps. Okay, and basically the summoning path of pain is in front of Naruto, and they basically start to have a fight and everything. It shows them even in the sky where they're like going toe to toe together, and even on the ground they're contesting against each other, and Sage Mode Naruto can't blitz or do anything either. So once again, further establishing scaling of pain to Sage Mode Naruto. And then even Ma and Paul say we gotta break the Rinnegan link, otherwise Naruto can't do anything against the passive pains. They do like a dust cloud to basically sever the link vision, which has allowed them to successfully land an attack on the summoning path of pain. And the summoning path, while even shown in the anime as well, but in the manga, can also take multiple blows from Sage Mode Naruto. Same thing, needs to land 2 Rising Gons in order to take it out. Naruto's also able to fight against, Tendo Pain. He's able to land an attack. Pain can still block. He's also able to survive the blow as well. The summoning path can also get in front of the Rising Shuriken thrown from Sage Mode Naruto as well, which is very impressive. And Tendo Pain is able to use his powers as well when it finally returns, and he can repel the Sage Mode Rising Shuriken. He can also, basically combat against Sage Mode Naruto and use Shinra Tensei, and be able to basically no-diff Naruto once his power has returned. He one-shots all the frogs as well. He even one-shots Paul, and he even subdues Naruto while he's in Sage Mode. Just going to show you how very powerful Pain is. And while Naruto's in base, he tries to save Paul as well, but he's not fast enough and Paul dies. All the bones with the frogs are broken as well from Pain's Shinra Tensei. Tendo Pain also, pulls Naruto and then slams him on the ground and subdues him with the chakra rods. Nagato starts like coughing up blood, and Konan says, Nagato, you must rest. You spent so much chakra. He's like, but peace is now here. Hinata tries to come to help Naruto, but she gets utterly no-diffed and one-shot by a Shinra Tensei, and then basically Pain, stabs her. Clearly supporting and substantiating the one, statement from Shikamaru's dad that anyone else that gets involved, they're just nothing and they would be immediately dealt with. Pain and Naruto are just in a different class of power. Pain is also able to combat against V2 Ninetales, and he's able to outrun it, and he's able to tank attacks as well, like even enduring his own Shinra Tensei. He's able to outspeed the V2 Six-Tails Naruto, and he says he brought Tendo close enough where he could use Chubaku Tensei, seal the Ninetales, and basically he's able to subdue it with Chubaku Tensei. Also able to survive a Biju Bomb from V2 Six-Tails. You can literally see in this manga panel where like the Biju Bomb is falling right in front of Pain and everything blows up. And then the man is literally standing with like his Akatsuki robe, like all ripped up and everything. And he's like, the Ninetales power is magnificent, So like, this man has like crazy durability as well, which is like absolutely insane. And it has like 8 tails out, and it's like clearly fully transforming. Pain's like he dug himself out of the, the planetary construction. Incredible power, I should enlarge it. He even has more chakra and can even like fully seal half the Nine Tails as well. And then eventually we know what happens. Naruto talks with Minato, and basically he's able to escape. Continues, and Pain can still combat against Sage Mode Naruto while extremely fatigued. And you even see here, like, Nagato is coughing up a bunch of blood, hack, and Konan is like, saying Nagato, you know what I mean, whatnot, while he's already in freaking Sage Mode. He's able to tank another attack from Sage Mode Naruto engaged in Taijutsu. And then Naruto throws smoke bombs. He's able to deal with the Rising Shurikens to do a Shinra Tensei. He's able to deal with the two Shadow Clones to try to sneak attack and dodge the next Rising Shuriken as well that was thrown at him. Then there's like hundreds and hundreds of Shadow Clones, more than 3 that took out KAKUZU. And Pain can still deal with all of them and do a Shinra Tensei and just launch them all away. And then Naruto's able to withstand to a certain degree, throws one of his clones, a Rasengan, and he was able to land an attack on an exhausted, fatigued Pain. And even through all that, Naruto says the rods is what gives him chakra. I should take him out and he shouldn't be able to move. And basically from there, like, it's really bad because, like, the fact that, like, all this happened to Pain, he still thinks he needs to take the rods out so he can't move. So meaning, theoretically, Pain could even still move after tanking, getting hit by a Rasengan, basically. Which makes sense because we technically saw that with Konohama. Everything Nagato has been through, the man can still do a Rinnegan ability, and he does basically Ghetto Rebirth, Tensei, to bring everybody that he killed in the village, to bring them all back to life. And even Konan's like, if he performs his jutsu at his current chakra level, Nagato would not survive. He wants to help this child that badly, and she's like really confused. So once again, like, Pain has an abundance of chakra and stamina. He's absolutely cracked to oblivion, and the man's just busted. Like, it's just ridiculous. Okay, beats as well, like, that I forgot to mention. We even see the Ashura Path can like launch the summoning path of Pain like super freaking high in the sky, and is like clearly really powerful and strong. And also, if you guys forgot, Tendo Pain can also fly. A lot of people forget that he can fly. By the way, he can fly in the sky and spam universal pull and Shinra Tensei, Jibaku Tensei. That's a big fucking problem. He used like the Ashura Path to blow up multiple buildings with like his head blast that he does. It's like an explosion blast that he does, and it like freaking destroys so many goddamn buildings. He's able to dodge Kakashi's Raikiri blade from behind effortlessly like it's nothing. That was something KAKUZU couldn't even do, but yet he could dodge it from behind. To dodge a Chidori point blank range, because he was able to speed blitz Kakashi and stab him with a rod before Kakashi could stab him with the Raikiri. Nagato was in front of Naruto. He shot a chakra rod into Naruto while he was in Sage Mode. And he says, from this short distance, I can completely manipulate your every move of my chakra. Don't worry, I've avoided hitting a vital spot, for you are an invaluable Jinchuriki. And it took for Naruto to combine Nine Tails with Sage Mode in order to overpower. In the past, when Nagato is weaker, where he's fighting against Hanzo in the Hidden Leaf, he's able to use Shinra Tensei and deal with all the attacks. He's able to move and basically force Hanzo in his prime to back away from him. Hanzo does an attack on his legs, blows him up. He still survives and takes damage. And he says, impressive boy, you escaped even while being hit by my, explosion attack. He's like, you're no ordinary brat, those eyes. Nagato summons the Ghetto statue and just starts slamming everybody. And then does like a spiritual dragon and literally kills everybody. And then Hanzo says it appears you were in the shadows as the real leader, that you possess the Rinnegan is quite a surprise, and then has to use body flicker in order to escape, otherwise he would have died. Which it gets even really more crazy, is the Path of Pains were able to deal with Sage Mode Jiraiya's attacks effortlessly and block it. And Jiraiya even himself concedes that in Sage Mode, with 3 Paths of Pains only, he will be killed. And that there's literally nothing he can do. Even his fastest attack was not able to land successfully on Pain. So, no matter what, when it comes to the manga in comparison, when it comes to the anime in comparison, even the game itself, okay, and narrative statements, unfortunately, Pain versus KAKUZU, it's just not fair at all whatsoever for KAKUZU. Like, it's blatantly one-sided. It's blatantly favorable to who actually is the top dog, and I hope this video gave you guys some form of educational value. Instead of making this like, you know, a typical versus battle video and going over like speed, blah, blah, whatever you name it, and the same recycled arguments that everybody uses for KAKUZU or Nagato or Pain, whatever, I just wanted to kind of switch it up and do a narrative comparison analysis and, you know, the manga, the game, and everything, you name it. And I hope this really kind of teaches you and just kind of just blatantly goes to show why it's mainly dominant and mainly favorable for Pain, you know, without even getting into like, you know, all like the debatable type of things, you know, or like what goes, you know, and you know, and you name it. Like it's really just very straightforward. But I hope all this information taught you guys something. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, subscribe for more content, subscribe if you guys love the channel. As
やめろ。いいんだ、カカシ。俺はもうダメみたいだ。体の右側はほとんど潰れちまって、感覚すら